Here is how I made massive profits on an AVAX long position. We are going to dive straight into the charts, guys, before we dive into the statistics dashboard that was providing me with lovely confluence for this trade. What we can see over here is that we have a beautiful high probability range for AVAX, with range pivot number 1 over here and range pivot number 2 over here, confirming the range high. We can see for the range low we have pivot 1, pivot 2, pivot 3, 4 and pivot number 5 over here, providing us with a high probability range. But in order to provide us with a very high probability range, also the mid-range need to get respected as support and resistance. And we can see resistance, support, massive resistance, resistance once more, and support over here. The fact that the mid-range was getting respected this well means that we are looking at a high probability range. Usually I would say I'm looking for a potential deviation to trade towards the opposite side of the range. But in this case, since we had so much buy-side liquidity that was resting above all of these highs over here, I was expecting a higher push to seek that buy-side liquidity for AVAX before forming a local top. So rather than trading the deviation over here, I was looking to trade a potential breakout model right here. In order to get a trigger for that trade and an entry and an execution, I have to go and seek for the lower time frames, and this is where things were really sparking my interest, because what we can see over here is the price made a fake break of structure. This fake break of structure induces people into opening up long positions over here. Where are these people putting their stop loss? Exactly beneath the local low that we have right over here, which means that fake break of structure over here is basically engineering liquidity over here. Now we know that we can only play the perfect retest of certain range levels if we have a valid inducement above the range level, or if we have the valid inducement below a range level. Obviously when we want to play a short, but right now we're looking for longs. So the fact that we had this beautiful inducement above this key range level, aka the range high level over here, means that this was a very important inducement to have and gave me the first trigger to start looking for longs. Now for the proper execution, I started moving towards the lower time frames, and this also sparked my interest, because over here we saw another beautiful fake break of structure with a lot of momentum. Right? What people fail to realize is that we still had that untested range high level, and that we still had that untested bullish fair value gap right over here on the 15-minute time frame as well. So I already kind of knew that this fake break of structure over here was meant to trap people into breakout long positions over here or pullback long positions over here, in order for them to place their stop loss exactly beneath the low over here, which made this low the perfect inducement to start executing our long exactly beneath the low over here. And we had a very clean invalidation beneath the daily low right over here for AVAX as well. I'll come to that later on based on the statistics dashboard. What we can see over here, we execute a trade like this. We have a clear target, and what I really loved about the setup was the EMA confluence on a 15-minute time frame. Because when I switch on these EMAs, the 100 EMA, the 200 EMA on a 15-minute time frame, which are both very important, we can see that they were both beautifully aligning with our POI, and that the 200 EMA was providing a clean invalidation for our stop loss. What we can see that in the past, these two EMAs have constantly been providing massive resistance and massive support, especially on this downtrend over here. The EMAs were providing massive resistance every single time when the price was bouncing. Beautiful EMA confluence indeed. And what we can see is that after filling in the limit order, we got a beautiful fill. Eventually price started forming a higher low exactly where we had that 100 EMA as well on the 15-minute time frame, before expanding towards our massive take profit target and locking in a beautiful gain of approximately 2.5 R. Now the thing that many people were asking me is about the statistics dashboard, and we can see that over here we can fill in at what hour the daily low and the daily high have been formed at, and by filling in these hours we can see that the statistics dashboard is automatically calculating the odds of the daily low and daily high to hold based on the statistics that it has gathered over the past 6 years. We can see P1 for AVAX was filled in at hour 0. P2 was filled in at hour 6, which means that the odds of P1 to hold was 71.4%, which is a very high probability invalidation for your trade, which is why my invalidation for this trade was the daily low. And we can see that P2, which was the daily high, only had a 1.5% chance of holding, which means that there was a very high probability to form a new daily high later on during the day. Also, distance-wise, we can see that over here, this metric is showing that there was only a 9.9% chance of forming a new daily low, which means that basically there was a 90% chance for the daily low to hold based on the distance statistics, which is showing the distance from the P1 to the P2. Based on the statistics of the past 6 years, it was showcasing a 90% chance for the daily low to hold, which gave us a beautiful invalidation for our trade. Besides that, it also gave us a 56.5% chance of getting a further bullish displacement, which gave us a nice edge to expect a further bullish displacement for the day. Now, these are only the daily statistics. The weekly statistics for AVAX were showing a very high probability of getting a further bullish displacement and a new weekly high later on during the week. And this way, I'm combining my technical analysis trading system, so ranges, liquidity, and market structure, together with the statistics dashboard. And this way, it is providing us with a beautiful edge and a beautiful bias every single day on the crypto market. It's really helping me figure out a high probability bias, high probability invalidation, and if I get the confluence of my technical analysis system, so once again, ranges, liquidity, and market structure, the past few weeks I've been performing very well. My bias has been on point almost every single day. My execution has been on point almost every single day. The only thing that sometimes was lacking was the management of my trade. So moving stop loss to break even too soon, or tightening the stop loss too soon, or not moving my stop loss at all, or not shaving profits in time and all of that. But I'm very satisfied and very pleased with the performance over the past few weeks. And it is also for a part to thank to the statistics dashboard and obviously to my trading system itself.